Hello and welcome back to another Gunplow review. Today we're taking a look at the HGUC Revive AMX-004 Qubeley Haman Karn's mobile suit from Zeta Gundam. I really like this mobile suit, and this kit definitely does it justice. But rather than just droning on about it, let's get into the articulation, shall we? This is a pretty big kit, so even by high grade, well, especially by high grade standards rather, this is a pretty large mobile suit, and it definitely reflects that in the actual kit. We'll get to size comparisons in a bit, but first, the articulation. The head can not really look down that far. It can, however, look really far up thanks to the specific design of the neck joint. Just a moment. There we go, better lighting. You can actually kind of see the detail now. But this is obviously for the flight mode, where these just fold down over the arms, which this can pull off, but not really important enough for me to show off, to be honest. Anyway, moving down to the shoulders, and there is technically a movable polycap in here, but this is how much movement the polycap itself gets. It's not very much. That said, the arms can get up perfectly far. There's no problem with that. It's on a ball joint, so full rotation. These don't really get in the way. It's probably easier to show it up underneath in here, if the lighting can show it. You get 4 of these pieces per shoulder. It's just a swivel, and then another swivel, and then another swivel, and then a hinge, which is perfectly fine. Gets the job done. I believe these are called binders, if I'm remembering correctly. I can never remember the name. But anyway, yeah, they're fully able to be splayed out the way that they're shown, and can move up and down. If anything, it's kind of annoying that they have so much articulation, because it's kind of a pain to keep them in the pose you want, especially closed. It's hard to line them up properly, but I suppose it's better to have the accuracy. There is a, it's going to be kind of hard to show this off. There is a hinge out, obviously. There's also a swivel at the upper arm, a double jointed elbow. However, even with it this way, you still only get just above 90 degrees, which, yeah, it's fine. It's just, I've been spoiled with significantly articulated kits recently, and I expect, full bend all the way up. That's fine. Of course, there's a swivel down here, then the hand is on a ball joint, and these hands are posable, which there's a hinge here, and the thumb is on its own ball joint, and you can separate the fingers to be on their own separate ball joints, but given the shaping, it doesn't really matter. You're really only going to want to have it like this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Also, these pink pieces are collapsible into the arm, and now it's stuck. There we go. Anyway, moving on. Might as well get this out of the way quick. There's a hinge on the funnel pod. The waist is interesting because this is on a ball joint, but the ball joint is facing backwards. So you get a kind of decent crunch-ish, a little bit side to side, but not very much. However, the waist is also on a ball joint, and it is perfectly acceptable. It's kind of a bulky suit anyway, so you're not going to get a lot, but there's enough there. The front skirt is a single piece, but it is on a hinge that gets it up out of the way. The side skirts, there is no back skirt, just wrap all the way around the whole leg, and they can come up to about here, which, I mean, not a massive difference, but they can also swivel very slightly. What that functionally amounts to is the legs can come out not quite to a split, but more than far enough up. They can go back really far, which is kind of surprising, honestly. And they can actually go very surprisingly far up in the front, considering that the hips are just a bar. There's no shift or swivel or anything going on here. It's just able to pull off a fairly high kick. The knee is on 2 joints, and honestly, you can get it a bit further if you like that. The knee pad is attached onto the actual joint itself, which is nice. And I mean, over 90 degrees is perfectly acceptable. These vents on the back of the leg actually can come out. It's not a ton of posability on it, but it's there. The foot is, as usual, on a hinge and a ball joint. However, because of how bulky this is, you get pretty decent tilt to the sides, but you don't really get much to the back. Thankfully, the toe is hinged down for flight poses, and you don't get very much at all forward, honestly. It's basically exactly the same as if it was just standing straight up, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's not like this mobile suit walks around that much anyway. Moving on to accessories, and well, you'll notice that the Qubeley is still in frame, which isn't the usual for these segments, and that's because most of the accessories are already on the kit. Aside from accessories to the accessories, that being the beam sabers that are mounted in the arms, which you can just plug one of the included yellow beam effects into. Also, you can remove the beam saber from the arm and place it into one of the 2 closed hands, which do have a slot specifically for the tab on the beam saber. And these can just be swapped by a ball joint. As for the other accessories, you can't really use them unless you either buy the P Bandai accessory kit or make something your own, I guess. And that is, of course, all the funnels on the back. These are all individual molded parts. I can get one off. There we go. They are... Whoa. Focus. There we go. They are all fully detailed, which is nice. They even have a divot in the barrel. They do have a big cut out of them, but not a big deal. You can see, focus, that there is a peg hole in the back of these, and that is for the P Bandai accessory. Thankfully, they don't really fall out that much. At least on mine, they're quite tight. They're not going anywhere, so you don't really have to worry about them. Okay, time for the size comparison, and you might notice that it's going slightly off screen, and that's because, yeah, this is a bit of a big mobile suit, like I said. Not only is it very tall, it's It's also very wide, not just because of the big shoulders, but just the overall suit is very wide. And also, it's pretty deep as well. I mean, the head obviously goes way back, but even this is really bulky. So, in conclusion, the Revive Qubeley is honestly one of the best kits I've got. The articulation is perfectly fine. I mean, the only limitations are the actual design of the mobile suit, and wow, what a design. Also, hey, using silent voice for my opening finally makes sense. All I can really say is, I mean, if you have the money and you're even vaguely interested in this design, absolutely worth getting. Really, really solid kit. But anyway, that's it for this review. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It helps with the algorithm. Be sure to subscribe for future reviews and watch my backlog. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, as always, happy building.